Imagine this. It's Christmas Eve, 1914. It's the first winter of World War I. You're 19 years old. You're cold. You're wet. You're hungry. You're covered in mud that hasn't dried for weeks. There are rats in your trench. There are bodies rotting in the barbed wire. And somewhere out in the darkness, men you have never met are waiting to kill you. Then something strange happens. Not gunfire, not artillery, not screams. You hear singing coming from the enemy lines. Silent Night in German. And for one night, the war stops. Before we talk about the miracle, you have to understand the misery because the truce only matters if you understand how bad things really were. By December 1914, the war had already shattered every illusion. Politicians promised it would be over by Christmas. Boys marched off smiling, bands played in the streets, crowds cheered. They thought it would be an adventure, but instead, it became a slaughter. There was machine guns, artillery, miles of barbed wire, entire battalions wiped out in minutes. The Western Front froze into trench lines stretching hundreds of miles across France and Belgium. In mud waist deep, frostbite, disease, you couldn't even bury. Letters home were censored so families wouldn't know the truth. These weren't heroic charges. This was survival. This was hell with the uniform. And every night, both sides listened to each other cough. You could hear them talk. You could hear them pray. And you could hear them cry. They were close enough to hear each other breathe, close enough to realize something dangerous, that the enemy sounded just like them. So here it is, December 24th, Christmas Eve. Something changes. German soldiers begin decorating their trench. They use little candles, lanterns, and even small Christmas trees they had been sent from home. Real trees in a war zone. Think about that. Mud, blood, barbed wire, and a Christmas tree that glowed in the dark. Then the singing starts. Silent Night in German. British troops recognize the melody. Some join in. Two different languages singing the same song. For a moment, it doesn't feel like war. It feels like church. It feels like home. Then someone yells across no man's land, English! You know shoot, we know shoot. And unbelievably, the shooting stops. At first, no one moves because this could be a trick. You don't just trust the people that were trying to kill you yesterday. But slowly, one man climbs out of the trench. He has no weapon, his hands are up, and then another, and then another, and suddenly, two enemies were meeting in the middle. In no man's land, the most dangerous place on earth. British, German, face to face. not charging at one another, not stabbing one another, just staring. And then they shake hands. They trade cigarettes, chocolate, buttons, photos of wives and kids. One soldier shows a picture of his baby. The enemy smiles and shows one too. Some help each other bury the dead that had been lying there for weeks. They pray together. They hold joint funeral services. Imagine that. Yesterday, just yesterday, you were trying to shoot each other. Today, you're digging graves side by side. And yes, in some areas, they played soccer, a muddy, ridiculous, laughing game of football in the middle of a battlefield. War paused for a ball. History almost feels fake when you say it out loud, but it happened because for a few hours, they stopped being soldiers and they remembered they were all human. Here's the part people don't talk about enough: the high command hated this. They absolutely hated it because once soldiers see the enemy as human, it becomes harder to kill them. And wars really depend on dehumanization. If you see a monster, you pull the trigger. But if you see a father, a kid, or just a guy who misses home like you tend to hesitate. So commanders, they shut it down. Orders came fast. No fraternization, no talking, resume fire. Some units were even punished because peace, even temporary peace, was dangerous to war. And by 1915, the truce, well, all of them were mostly gone. And yes, the killing got worse. There were gas attacks, mass casualties, mass killing on a massive mechanized scale. There was years of more suffering. But that one night, that one fragile moment, stillness happened. And no matter what, no one could erase it. This is why I love stories like this, because history isn't just dates and battles, it's people, cold people, scared people, people who miss home, people choosing kindness anyway. And not because they were ordered to, but because something inside them said, enough. For one night, humanity won. Not the governments, not generals, not flags, just people. Regular people who realized the guy across the field wasn't evil. He was just another kid stuck in the same nightmare. Every war has a human cost, but sometimes we get these tiny flashes of light, moments that remind us exactly what we're capable of at our best. The Christmas truce wasn't victory. It didn't end the war, but it did prove something powerful. Even in the darkest place on earth, compassion still survives. So tonight, next month, next Christmas, if you hear Silent Night, please remember this. Once, it stopped a war. This is historical, and this is why we remember.